Sunday. Ain't no shame, but there's been a change.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. I'm going to just go ahead and plug our sponsor now at the beginning of the show. I want to thank our sponsor, Hayfla. Hayfla offers a wide range of products and solutions for the woodworking and furniture-making industries, from hinges and drawer slides to connectors and dowels, sandpaper, wood glue, shop carts, and everything in between. Exclusive product lines such as Lux LED lighting and Slido door hardware ensure that every project you create is built to last. Learn more at hayfla.com.
Yeah, check them out. They're up and running.
Back from their data breach. We're on like 6 or 7 boxes from Hayfla this week. We want to welcome back a guest from episode 7.
Yeah, that's a long
season
time
1
ago.
Wow.
This is 25 of season 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're 129 episodes in.
These are podcast veterans now.
Yeah. We have William Fagan.
Fagan, yes.
Willie's
Fagan.
wood
It's
shop.
actually Fagan. No, it's Will Fagan. William Robert Fagan II.
William Robert Fagan?
Yes.
I'm Robert William.
I'm named after my grandfather, who's a Protestant minister.
Oh, wow.
And I have nothing to do with religion.
The
so don't
apple
ask me
doesn't
about
fall
that
far from the
crap.
tree.
Yeah, man.
So I guess,
How do we start?
yeah, you want to tell us where you've been for the last
2 years?
Yeah, I think
When I first was here,
you had just moved
I
out
had just
of Brooklyn,
moved
right?
to New Hope area, and I'm in Lambertville now. It's on the Jersey side of the Delaware River. I'm really into it out there. Love it out there.
It's a nice area.
It really is, man. It really is. It's like the mix of farm to, small town vibe with the artsy town there right on the river. And there's a couple of those towns over there.
You ever go to Golden Nugget?
I do, actually. That place is amazing.
Yeah. I used to go
I have
there as a kid.
probably at least 10 things in my house from Golden Nugget, early morning, Saturday morning.
Big flea market, right?
Yeah, I think we might have talked about it on the podcast before. Like when we went out to go see Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, it's
we used to go on like a
well-known.
Sunday with.
Well known for having a lot of good, like all the antique dealers go there.
Yeah, because you're right in that area, Lambertville, New Hope. It's
And one of my buddies has a store in town, and he's kind of grown up going there, finding stuff, bringing it to the store, like refurbishing it or whatever, objects, all that stuff. So, yeah, I've been out there. The shop's out there. It's in Percy, PA, and I share a shop with an amazing company called Cider Press Woodworks. The owner is Brad Sullivan. He's my homie. It's really just an amazing place for me, honestly.
Big shop?
It's a huge shop. It's a big millwork shop. They do all the millwork for Soho House and Rockwell Group, and they make the furniture for Roman and Williams Guild, which is a major accomplishment for a woodworking company. Very big clients, very hip stuff that they build, and it's a cool environment to be in on a daily basis, honestly. I'm becoming quite good friends with a bunch of the people that work there, and just, seeing the ins and outs of the way that their world works compared to mine, compared to how they both work around the same way. Just like a very cool thing. And it's almost like I'm in school, or like it's like a mentorship program or something like that. But like we're all friends and we all kind of do the same thing. So we get to share war stories, and it's cool.
Sounds
Get to
very
see how
cool.
all their stuff gets built. They see how my stuff gets built. I do things a little bit differently than them. They have a lot of CNC work that goes into their product, and I'm not quite there yet, so I'm doing a lot of handwork and carving and stuff that they don't get to do. So like some of the guys will come over and we'll talk about that, and so it's cool being surrounded by 20, maybe 15 to 20 amazing crafts people all the time.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, you get to, draw from each other's experiences, but you're working on separate things too. So you're not
exactly,
getting in each other's way.
Yeah, and there's no like ego bullshit going on. It's just like a lot of the older guys are really cool and have seen it all, and like one guy was telling me he had a lathe that was like run by like these straps, and the motor was outside the building, and I think it was they extended it so they could turn 20-foot long columns for one of the schools in Philly. I think it was Temple maybe. But just like a lot of cool shit, like the history of some of the, you know, I'm into the history, obviously.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of know that, but
That's a
seems
rich
that
environment.
what's that?
That's a rich environment.
It's super rich, yeah, and there's a lot of cool, just talented, just amazing dudes that, you know, talented in all ways, you know, from the computer stuff that I'm not into at all, but I watch, you know, and that's another thing I do with Jeff here is that I send him my drawings and stuff, but like when we were doing the TV show, which also happened right before I was on the podcast, but I wasn't able to talk about it, we did the TV show, and my buddy Chris Bro is actually an amazing CNC programmer. And,
What was the name of it for people listening?
It's called Ellen's Next Design Challenge.
On what?
It was HBO Max. It's on HBO Max, still up there. It's pretty fun, but
And you guys won.
we did win, yes. I was Mark Gratton's assistant, and we won. And then he went on to LA, and then he did a whole collection with another group of craftspeople over there. And I think they had like a week to make 5 to 7 pieces, I believe it was. So can you imagine that?
We've done that, not willingly.
Yeah,
but,
I've done
well,
it
not
too,
5
at like
to
2 o'clock
7.
in the fucking morning.
Yeah.
So
Maybe one. Like that banquet.
Yeah.
what
I
happened?
had
Because you
just
had
a-
to rebuild it?
Yeah, that was that one.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was
you
a
made the angle.
60 degree. We put it in the
Yeah,
thing,
it
and
looks
it was
right.
like a foot off of the wall. I was like, oh, God.
God.
that was quite the sinking feeling.
Those clients just referred us to a friend, too.
Well,
so, you know.
there you go. I've actually had that happen, too, where I totally blew it on something, then I made up for it, and then I got referred to like a major job through those people. So I was like, you know what?
We're like, yeah, do you want, like, you could just have this banquet.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, you know somebody. That,
Hey, know anybody that's got this angle?
We gave it to our buddy Keith, and he, like, he has a 45-degree bay window, but it was smaller, so he, like, cut it in half and, like,
There you
joined
go.
it back
Glued
together.
it back together.
Yeah.
He did a pretty good job of it,
Worked
too.
out.
Yeah.
As long as it's painted, you can hide it.
Well, it was stained red oak,
Even
which
better.
actually probably easier. Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Can
Speaking of
blend
which,
that.
Keith, you got to add those pieces on that you've been procrastinating.
Oh, yeah.
I know all about procrastinating.
Yeah. So what do you want to talk about? I got a couple questions. We don't have to do them.
I mean,
They're nothing spectacular.
honestly,
We can talk about anything. We were just telling you how we did Amazon reviews last week.
yeah. What was I thinking about talking about? You posted something about Thomas Moser.
Mhm.
I guess, was it you comparing, like, what you're talking about what you wanted as a dream or a vision for yourself?
Yeah, I was on a podcast called Maker Conversations. And actually, that we were talking about Viz. Viz was like the co-host for that episode.
Okay.
And Tiff is the host of the podcast. Yeah, and I think she asked something like, what's the ultimate goal?
Of where you see yourself, like, with this.
Right, yeah. And, I said that Rob and I, we've always talked about, like, what Thomas Moser has and how cool that is. A big company, but they're making really nice furniture. Everybody's got a good job. It's,
Trust me, when I look at their Instagram, I often kind of, like, fuck off and look at it for, like, way too long because it's so... I think that, like, honestly, like, kind of what, like, Cider Press is doing is sort of in that vein because they're making the custom furniture, but they don't have, like, the expansive line of product like Thomas Moser. But Thomas Moser and, like, oh, man, I heard a little inside story from Mira Nakashima is, like, not down with the CNC work that they do there, and she's like, I can't believe they're doing that. They're fucking, she's kind of like she's amazing, obviously. But
the prices from Moser, I feel, are very fair.
Yeah, super
so it's like,
competitive.
if you want people to be able to buy your furniture, you have to implement some sort of
you
automation.
absolutely
I mean,
do. I think it's the only way, really.
Yeah.
You're going to sit there and carve out a
Where
chair
you're
seat
gonna have-
with a...
where you're going to
with
be only able to have, like, these older people who know how to do everything, single task properly without, fucking it up. And because the CNC machine, they do one sample, and if that goes well, go. It's like the same thing. every
Yeah, run
time.
it.
And as long as those suction cups suck the wood down, it's gonna work out.
They could just stack up chair seats,
Oh, you should
They
see
run
that.
them and
You
then
should see
they're
this shit.
ready.
Yeah, they have chair parts like in 4 racks of chair parts ready to get put together by w
What's his name? Goebel just got a BAC Rover.
Wait, who's that again? Oh, yeah. That
forget his
company's
first name.
crazy.
Yeah.
Love them.
You know that the guys in St. Louis. I've shown you their stuff before.
Yeah.
He's
What'd they
always
get?
like jet setting. He's like, I'm in Vietnam sourcing
Yeah.
lumber. I'm like,
They made
what
a
the hell?
fucking throne for an
yeah.
African king, or was it a king?
Yeah,
or a queen?
a queen. A
Queen, yeah, a queen.
Yeah.
So we have a dude in Nigeria. He wants us to come out and teach a class.
You're kidding me.
But if you go on like the Department of Homeland Security website, it's like, don't go to Nigeria. It's like an orange level threat or
There's
something.
a lot of like the pirates going on. Out
Yeah.
there.
Well, they just had an election, and I think it was like super, like a real bad situation. And the state where this guy's located is like under Sharia law.
Oh fuck no.
So, yeah,
Don't-
it's like,
no,
you know,
no.
my wife would
Risky.
definitely not let me
Yeah,
go
yeah,
to Nigeria.
Hey, we're peaceful woodworkers. Like no.
He's like, I was like, yeah, I'm looking, and it's like, it doesn't sound like we should really go to Nigeria. He's like, well, it's dangerous everywhere. He's like, I see the news about America. I'm like, you got a point, but
Yeah.
it
I
seems
do
like
have
it's
a kufi.
That's true. He does have a kufi. Is it here, or is that still at the old shop?
Still at the old shop, yeah. Yeah. We were talking about the bench over there at Garrett Wade.
Yeah.
The same, that was on Spring Street and 6th.
Right.
And Moser had a showroom on Varick.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, and
I'm surprised he doesn't have one now.
yeah, I used to go over there
Because
like on
real
my
estate's
lunch
so
hour
much
and
fun.
just like look in the window.
Oh, dude, trust me. Yeah, like I said, I was just telling them a story earlier before we started here. But I went to like an auction house to drop something off for somebody, and there was a Moser in the middle of the room, and I saw it. It was like it had a halo around it, and I walked up to it and just like, I love that shit, man. I mean, those forms are pretty much perfect, and it's like the Sam Maloof kind of vibe. It's all those classic American woodworkers.
It's very refined.
There's like the East Coast
Their
vibe. There's the
design.
West Coast vibe. There's like, the Nakashima thing is very, very original to him. But then, what happened to that? So
I like this stuff that Moser's doing that's like Nakashima inspired, like the Edo chair, and what's the one I really like?
yeah, I just saw that too. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's like a stick chair, but it's got like a more shapely seat. What the hell do they call it? But I really like the stuff that they're doing. And like, honestly, if you go look at the prices, like
They have that New England vibe too. It's like, I mean,
it's
it's
classic.
shaker,
It's green
but
and green a little bit, a little bit. The cabinetry is at least like the cabinet.
Yeah, I mean, they have what they even call like the Mission line or
Mission
whatever.
line, yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
yeah, a lot of Stickley
That's the
inspired
stickly
stuff.
yeah.
Oh man,
And even the stickly
look at
stuff,
that! It's
that's
like a
Oh,
Eames Maloof Windsor
weird.
chair.
Yeah, it's a hybrid
Yeah.
with that big scoop from the bottom
Wow.
up like that.
Let me see. Where's this freaking chair? These. What are they called? Blah, 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 blah. It doesn't say, but
Very Japanese, yeah. I mean, it's got the Windsor thing going on too
yeah.
Yeah.
with the spindles.
It's just super
But when you
clean.
sit in a proper Windsor, like a King Windsor, and your back fits, like it hugs you so nice.
That's a better picture.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, that upsweep.
Wow, that's delicate.
It's just super simple.
And
You know,
pick
no,
it up with one finger, and you're like,
yeah, no stretchers. You know, they just have these curved brackets going
those
from
curved-
the.
Did you see the way they make them too?
No,
They have. There's a couple little snippets of video
Yeah.
where you can kind of check out how they get them glued in there and stuff.
I'd like. Oh,
They
so
glue those in.
they
too.
go into a
don't- there's
mortise.
No nail. Yeah, it's a mortise. It's a rounded mortise, so it's obviously CNC maybe, but they do handwork to fit it.
Just like the bevel on the top edge of the seat,
Right.
but the
All those
curve
little
is into
details
it.
Is the only thing that is, that's what makes that chair.
Nice, thin crest rail, but it's got like a triangular cross section. It's just nice stuff.
And they have like the really
Eastward.
old, they're still using the really old machines because they do those full, what would we even call that top rail of the chair or the
crest rail?
curved back pieces.
Oh, where it's integrated
and
into
then
the arm.
You've seen the video of them doing. The one kid is like sanding it with his whole body, like going. He's like
Oh, yeah.
dancing with this huge piece of wood, and he's like, he's doing it so perfectly, and it's awesome to watch.
That's something I like about them is like on their social media, they highlight these individual people.
Right.
They're like, this is Steve. He's been
working
here for 40 years.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this
You're
is
like
Karen.
40 years.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's crazy.
the fact that some of those designs haven't changed for that long is really what is surprising to me. And like this industry is interesting with that stuff because trends come and go like in everything. But with furniture, there's just such classic things that never should go away.
Yeah.
And if you try to change them, it just looks like ass. And it's like, there's the rules and there's the rules of thirds and all that. But like the golden ratios and all that. And it's like, if you use those things, if you like practice with that stuff and you realize it works every time, you're like, what the fuck is anybody else doing kind of thing?
Right. Like, why try anything else?
Right.
It always looks balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And some of the most classic stuff is all from that, like the orders of column, like the column,
it's all based on
terminology.
architecture.
I'm just losing me, but
yeah, like, good furniture design originates from architectural design.
Right.
Yeah, we have a couple of those old books. Well, we like that Italian book.
Yeah, what the hell is that called?
I can't remember because
yeah,
I have
there's
a
the
few that I
English,
can't
the
think of the
English.
names of either.
Man, I forget.
we got it in the office.
Yeah,
A Timeless Way of Building was an amazing book. That has nothing to do with what you're talking about, but that was like one of the first books I read that got me into like craftsmanship, stuff like
I don't
that.
think I've read that. I have a stack, or there's multiple stacks of books that
freaking like three rows of a very large bookshelf full of like every.
This morning I'm looking and it's the 2 David Pye books that I have. I'm like, I should really get around to reading these.
Yeah, the Jim Tolpin By Hand and Eye, that one
I have that.
I recommend to everybody. I think it's probably, as far as like inspirational, whenever I'm just like fucking off and I can't think about, you go through those moments where you're just like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
I'll look at that and immediately be like, oh, cool, let's go with that. Or like, I have one of those, let me go fuck with that thing. And I guess to talk about something, I think I was just thinking about this on the way into the door, actually, for whatever reason, but I was thinking about, I had this project over the summer where I had to make furniture for a house. A guy hired me to make amazing dude. Bought this house out in Bucks County, and he was like investing in the property and turning it into this amazing Airbnb. And he had all these like, he had the vision board and stuff, and then we met, and then I was like, okay, I want to make that piece like that and this like this, and then I was like, I really want to design like a really sling chair. Like, and I'll call it the McCarthy chair because his last name is McCarthy. But I was like, I want to design it for you, but I want it to be like my design, so whatever. So I got to design that sling chair that I had just posted recently. He picked the fabric, I picked the everything else, all the details, and then I also got to do some chainsaw sculptures there, which I learned a lot from. Learned how fucking difficult that craft is and how much time you're holding the chainsaw. And I went out and bought a pop-up tent. I was like, I bought sandbags to hold the thing down. Like, I was like, oh my God, I got to use a forklift to lift these. I did five bar stools, and I tried to make them as close to martini glass shapes as I could. So I had like an inspiration image that I had in my head of like, just going to these like classic cocktail bars that have like those really cute martini glasses. Yeah. And then one had like a ball in the middle, and one had like what do you call it? Like ribs, basically, all the way through the interior. But yeah, got to do that. Got to do some sculpture. Got to make some like proper furniture. Got to make a dining table. Like all this stuff, and I'm like, you know what? This is almost like the perfect job, like for me, because it's like these different aspects of the work. Where it's like I kind of get bored. I'm like, I don't like building cabinet boxes, to be completely honest. I like how they look when they're done. I don't enjoy that process at all. And like, I know how to use all the hardware. I know how all that shit works and whatever. But as far as that goes, I'm like, you know what? That's what I mean. You know what I mean? And I got to another thing. I got to, he wanted like a funky cabinet handle. So I was just like, here, how's this thing? And I drew like, it was like a sculptural cabinet handle with like a hole in the middle and like a shark teeth kind of vibe. And that was like one of the first things I drew for him, and I sent it to him, and then I just made a sample and kind of like brought it over. And I was like, here, feel this, put it on the cabinet, has a look. He's like, oh, mate. Because Australian, I don't want to try to do the accent, but he's an amazing dude, and shout out to him. He's cool. But yeah, that and like, what else was I doing? I got to do this like sculptural bench for this chick who she's a designer and she does staging and stuff like that. So she's always buying vintage pieces, and this thing had this metal base. And then she came to me and was like, "How would you be able to like make this like wooden base for it?" And we talked about the base, and I was like, "Well, what if it looked like it was like walking? Like, what if I actually made it have like human, like animal like legs, like with calf muscles and shit?"
Was that like that rattan?
Yeah. And she put the boucle seat over that. So it started out as a rattan thing with a metal base. Then she changed that seat. Then I made the base. Then it ended up in a fucking like an art gallery in Miami. I'm like, how's that happen? You know? And then and all these nice pictures were taken of it. And it was like one of these things that I stared at for fucking months, literally. Like she kept it like this was like the longest I ever had something. And I was like, sorry, I'm having the hardest time with this. And then it just came to me one day and it said, this is it. And I kind of roughed it out, hit it with like a 2-inch round over bit, like not a 2-inch, a 1-inch, but like the biggest one that you can fit in a router. And then I was like, oh, that's how I got there, you know? And I would have never, I just almost I did it out of frustration because I wanted to see the finished form before I could, instead of carving it with the angle grinder for that long, getting all that shaped out. I was just like, I found the shape on the bandsaw. Then I hit it with the thing, and then I started chiseling out like little details. But I was like, that was like so spontaneous and kind of worked so perfectly that I didn't even want to tell anybody how that happened.
Yeah, that has like a sort of like a bizarre like animal kind of feel to it.
Yeah,
like
and then once I got it close, I was like, okay, this is really I could feel it working out, you know.
Let me see. I'll pull it up so Rob can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's supposed to look like it's It's supposed to look like it's alive, sort of like the base at least, and then.
Oh yeah, we're in the nice the block hell for Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah. This room.
This is a bunker.
The whole place is like. Yeah, so you can imagine what the first podcast we recorded in here sounded like before we put any of this shit up.
It's just like, bing.
I just put that up on the ductwork. I could hear everything reverberating off of the duct.
Oh my god.
It's not going to load. Oh, wait, here we go. Yeah, I remember when you first sent me a picture of this thing. I think you had just mocked up.
Yeah, I was mocking things up for too long on that, and then I got away from it, and then I got back into it. But yeah, sorry, Carly. I got it done now.
I thought it was up here. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, Carly's name is Instagram is Past Live Studio.
Something I've always been amazed with is like the amount of work you put out. I feel like you put out for a one man show.
Yeah.
Yeah. At one point it was for years it was Max and I, and then I just constantly kind of just keep the ball rolling with.
Look at the transformation. This is like some bullshit that somebody found
like
at a garage sale.
I would walk past that. You know what I mean?
If that was on sitting on the side of the road on trash pickup day,
it's definitely along the lines of like what's hip in like the resale kind of community right now. But like she did a good job doing that one for sure.
It's a cool kind of like chaise.
Yes, it actually was super comfortable. Honestly, when I laid in it obviously to test it out.
But yeah, it looks like some kind of like. I don't know. I can't put my
finger
on.
And the wood that I used for that was like, I saved offcuts of like slabs that I went, I go to Bucks County Hardwoods, which is where, name dropping again, Nakashima is John's biggest client. He's been cutting for them since the late 70s, early 80s, I guess. Super legendary dude, John Curlew. But yeah, I went to him. I got all these like offcuts of like these figured walnut pieces, and then I was like, I'm going to use these for something one day, and then that's what I used for the legs of that. So when you got up close to the knee was like popped out and shit,
Yeah, and it's got super. Like some real nice straight grain in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it almost looks like. It's definitely air dried, right?
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, they were like 4-inch chunks. And I was thinking about trying to do it on the lathe, like doing half of it on the lathe. And I had just gotten the lathe, but like that's the experimenting with the lathe shit that I was just doing as well. Like people like multiple people have asked me since they started seeing me like turning stuff. They're like, "Oh man, what classes did you take? This, that, the other thing." I'm like,
The School of Hard Knocks.
You get a lathe and you turn it on, and then you like hold a tool to it until it feels comfortable. Then you start doing this shit, like literally.
Well,
like,
the first step is you sell the job.
Yes, I did. That's what I did. That's
Yeah.
I mean, I remember talking to you about it. I was like, "Yep, I got to make some tapered legs, and I don't want to pay anybody to do it, so I'm going to buy my buddy's lathe for $250." Because he's like, "Yeah, I just got a new lathe." Because all those guys out there, they make bowls, and there's a bunch of turners out there.
That's how we got a lathe. What was it?
We
Was
got
it
it from Keith, I
Jane's
think,
bench,
for free.
or no? It was the painted walnut TV thing.
Ah, yeah.
We
Painted?
needed these big, like 4-inch round. I drew these it was like a square stock base with these kind of like a Japanese kind of thing with an undercut and these 4-inch round walnut legs.
Word.
And it was like, wow, maybe we could find 4-inch walnut dowels somewhere.
Well, with
They're probably going to be ugly.
No. Yeah, that's the thing. Once you find out that like the only way to make something round is with a lathe, like pretty much, unless you want to.
So we borrowed
make
that
all kinds
little
of fixtures.
Excalibur lathe from our buddy Keith. Well, actually, he gave it to us because he had 2 of them, and we just
The little one over here.
Yeah.
I saw it, yeah.
we just made the legs. Then we did a job with tapered legs.
Right.
Those R2D2 tables in there. Rob turned those.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty much what happened with me. I
How does
got
this work?
everything.
Yeah.
I've been just having all these round ideas, like the Danes table.
Mhm.
That, like, and talk about that as a tricky thing to make, like, fucking through mortise table legs that are round, and then on the end they're capped. But the way I cap, I make that detail, like the step in detail with the round over on the end, so it's got like the cup, and then you can grain match like screw holes and put 2 screws on, and one in the. Actually, I only did like one in the top and one on the top, so you don't see the plug. But like that was pressure fit from the lathe. That was like my second month with the lathe, and I fucked one up, and I was like, fuck, I got to I was inching up on it, and then I like dug in, and I was like, oh, that was it. I know I fucked it up.
Well, you see like a little line.
Yep,
and
and
you're
then
like, I just gotta just shave.
yeah,
that
and then
off.
you see it in the work like
Yeah.
after you're like, oh, it's not
Oh,
gonna be
man.
there. And then,
Yeah, so he's got a table, and like, so the leg comes down, like, let's say it's like whatever, 6 inches wide, and then it's a round stretcher
Yeah.
that goes through.
it's a
And then
6-inch. It's a 6-inch leg, like from the side view, and
Like a
then there's a
popsicle
4-inch
stick,
hole,
imagine.
4-inch hole with a 4-inch dowel, and then the stretcher has a hole. Then this leg has a hole that the stretcher comes through. That's also a 2-inch dowel,
Oh, jeez.
but it's like a 6-foot 2-inch dowel. So talk about a fucking bendy piece of wood. Like if you don't have a straight piece for that stretcher, it's.
Oh yeah, you almost
Yeah.
want to like split it.
Tell me about it. I did.
Actually, I think I have 4 of those 4-inch walnut legs in my bench still.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing. It's like you turn a couple extra, and it's like, I don't want to get rid of
Then you
these.
have a bunch or so.
Those were the ones that were slightly off. Like I had like a thing I would test they were 3-inch because we have a 3-inch Forstner bit. So I drilled the holes, and then it's like, this one's a little bit loose. Like what are the best 8 out
Well,
of these 11 that I made?
I was watching YouTube the other night, as I tend to do too often, but there was some dude, I don't know the name of it, Make Something TV maybe or some shit, and I usually don't watch those kind of videos because they're a little too like DIY for me or whatever,
yeah.
like garage type woodworker bullshit, but
A lot of Ryobi and Hart brand
too
tools.
much of that and like them defending themselves and like whatever. So this dude was like, he wanted a he made a sliding table saw, like it was legit. Like it was like these, what are they? Something linear glides off of Amazon.
Yeah.
You seen them? And then I saw that and I was like, you know what? I could make like a sick fixture for the top of the lathe with the router, and then just have like the bushing in there with the just make like a 3/4 hole in the middle of this board and have it on these linear guides, and then have that and just drop the router
like a little
and then,
angled, and then
right, and then or you could do, and then you could have one that was tilting, but you wouldn't. That I don't even know why you would need to tilt it, but just to make dowels like really fast.
Yeah.
Basically.
I saw a video
And then
of
figure
of,
out
like, a
where
guy doing
to
that.
get it down
I
to.
did too just recently.
It was like a
Make 'em-
Japanese guy. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, to make them consistent. Like, yeah. I mean, I've been watching, I remember watching the first time I saw, like, a router being used with the lathe in unison. I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
what?
Well, you just get a Cyclone.
Exactly.
That's that machine that our
the
buddy Corey
Watkin
invented.
thing?
No, our buddy Corey, Odyssey CNC, he did like all those watch boxes and stuff.
Right.
And that drip
Yeah.
shelf thing.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
He invented. I mean, well, I don't know if invented's the right word because the kind of thing existed already, like a fourth, whatever, an additional axis to like a regular CNC is like the rotary axis. So it's a rotary CNC. It's a lathe with a router on the top.
Yeah, I believe that's a 6.
Yeah. So you can make anything on that. You could just like tapered legs. It could probably buzz those out.
They make baseball bats like that. They make all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Pattern lathes, like you can make it in a pattern lathe really easily. Like now that I've had the lathe and like I've been explained how that works, it's like you make like you take your tool and put it on a piece of like plywood fixture and like make a very nice pattern to follow, and that's your pattern jig. But like
something I did was
if you need to make one thing, you can do that. But if you need to make like 25 things, don't do that. But like you know, that's what people do.
I put like a little stop on the tool so that when it hit the tool rest, as long as the tool rest was parallel to the work, it would give.
How wide is your rest? Because mine's only
it's like 4 inches.
Yeah,
wide.
mine's like the same.
I put like a piece of wood on it.
It's
and
so
then
hard to be
doing
consistent
the last one,
with
it
that thing.
broke off.
The only thing I want to do with that lathe is just have someone make me like a nice, like almost probably like 18-inch one.
Yeah,
because when you can slide just back and forth, and exactly you use your finger, whichever finger. Yeah,
that was it. In my limited turning, that was the first thing I recognized. Like,
I was like,
this tool is too short.
Yeah,
and you got these nice long, like all these like, and that's another thing. You got to start buying these lathe tools now. That
so you're using carbide or high speed steel?
I have like all this hand-me-down shit that I just like I sharpen it right before I use it, and it's good. And like white oak, it wears down and way quicker than anything else. But yeah, and that's the thing. When I make that table, it's white oak, and then I'm making this other shit out of white oak, and it's like never giving myself a break trying to do anything easy. But
yeah, and that way it wants to tear out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'll humble you. That would.
Yeah.
That wood loves fucking with people.
We turned something in white oak on the lathe. I don't remember what.
I don't remember either.
Yeah. I was trying to make these napkin rings because client of ours.
Drill a hole through them.
Yeah, her son works at 11 Madison.
Oh, word, yeah.
Yeah, so we're trying to make this napkin ring. So I envisioned this sort of like, what would you call that shape?
Hourglass, maybe?
Yeah, well,
not
no,
quite.
It's like a quart.
Oh,
like a kind of like a trumpet end,
like
but two of them back to back.
Backwards parentheses.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, like
it's a visual.
Whatever. Anyway,
yeah, I got it.
So I made one, and then I'm like, all right, now I got to drill the hole. So I put a Forstner bit, and then I clamped it in a block, wooden block clamp.
Yeah.
And then like the second you make it through, the thing just caves in on itself.
Really?
So it's like I'm trying to figure out a way to be able to. I need a drill bit in the tailstock of the.
Right.
lathe.
Maybe it's the way the grain. I mean, do you have to have end grain facing out?
Well, we only have like a spur and a center point.
You don't
so
have the other. You don't have like the bowl turning.
No, yeah. So you got to piss with the cock you got.
Yeah, those
I wonder
motherfuckers
if you drill the hole like almost all the way through,
and then flip it over,
and then turn it.
Well, yeah, but that lathe, it's got to have that center point.
Oh, yeah, we got to have two.
We need like a 3-jaw or
Unless
something.
You're making, exactly. Then you can make it like a bowl fixture. Kind of thing for it.
And then how big does the end of that have to be?
They bolted them in like with 8 fucking 3-inch screws like in these things, and they got this piece of log on there. Like,
and I'm working with like a 2x2 piece of walnut. Like,
right.
I'm gonna have to like glue a giant block on the end.
Yeah, just use some Star Bond.
Could probably make like, because it does have the holes that you can screw through.
Right.
Could make like a piece of plywood or something with some like cleats and then glue it in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
unless it's like,
it's just a proof of concept thing. So it's like, how much time am I going to invest?
Didn't they turn 11 Madison Park? Isn't it vegan now?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That was they were like known for their steak.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, most of those type of places are very meat and fish heavy.
Yeah, like French. They're very French vibes. We
like when we first started the company, there was this guy who used to prior would go to Rob's shop and ask him to like, oh, can you like plane this down, whatever.
He didn't have any machines. He had a lot of like routers, and that's what he did.
Right,
you
like
know,
big stuff.
Yeah, no like joiner or planer or anything like
Right.
that. So he like shows up to the shop one day and he's like, I got to make these Gerdons for this place, 11 Madison, and like it's totally out of my like ability and blah blah blah. He's like, will you guys do it? And we're like, oh yeah, you know. And then I think maybe like did some drawings or something.
Yeah.
But we had questions and we're like, you know, listen. Basically, he wanted to like have us make it and take all the credit. And
so he didn't want to like introduce you to whoever it was.
No, because like we wanted to like talk to the client. Like that's you know, this is a very.
I wouldn't have been able to do it because I need to know.
We told him to fuck off.
Yeah, you can't do that shit.
Now he works down the street.
You have to have more control. What is it? Where does he work?
There's a shop over there called Timber. It's a big CNC shop.
It's a young.
They have
was it
the
a young kid?
no, my age.
Older guy. They have like the big robot arms with the turntables, and they have a lot of cool stuff.
It's fucking, you know. I mean, I love machinery, but I actually prefer like I love. Old
They do a lot for like Daniel Arsham and
like the big sculpture. Oh, they have the robotic arm thing.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
You know, Kith.
Yeah.
They just did a whole big like. They're these white oak benches, but they built them out of solid glue ups or something, and they're like curved with these like you know, whatever, like a clothing rod.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like mortise in on the ends or something.
Yeah, like it comes up over the top, but it's like 50 something feet long, like all the and it's
of course. I mean,
geez. Crazy.
And they do a lot of interesting,
it's a fucking interesting
engineering.
It's an interesting industry in that capacity because like all of these big retail places are also they get budgets for that stuff.
Oh,
and it's like incredible. Like so when you have the facility to make that stuff, that's where you know you can really make some money. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
that's $1 million job. I'm sure.
You're in this business. You're limited with how much money you can make depending on what tools you have, how much space you have, and then who you know, and you know.
Yeah, some people take some 15 years to get started. Some people take some 5 fucking months to get started.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, we've already seen, you know, moving into the space, how much more we're able to do just going from 800 square feet to 5,000 square feet.
It's incredible. I mean, it's like you're in the small shop, you're taking one thing and then you're moving it over here and then you're moving your setup again and then you're moving like that's
like
half
I got to cross cut 8 feet on the table saw. Oh, let me move the shaper.
Yeah, hold on. We gotta move the kitchen we're building to the other side of the shop now because like fuck.
Yeah, just much less downtime because there's always something you can do.
And then you can wheel a cart over here and do that.
It's like, oh, yeah, let me just mark out the lumber for this other job while I'm waiting for this thing over
and it'll
here.
just be here waiting. Like, I don't have to move it.
Honestly, I'll often work on 2 things at the same time, and because I have 2 tables, you know, works tables, and like start a glue up for one or whatever, mill the wood for one, have it sitting there, wait a day, then like come over here, do some glue ups, go do this thing, because it's like when you have room to put stuff, then you can be doing that. You know? Yeah,
like we have I don't even know 4 some odd jobs going on in the shop right now.
Right, totally.
Because you know, there's I don't know if we're talking about on the podcast or what. There's always downtime. You run into something, you're waiting on like the plywood didn't show up today that was supposed to show up.
And when you work for yourself, sometimes that can just be like, what do we do now? You know,
right.
Like, you know, especially when you got another guy and you're usually like, that was the thing with whenever it was like Max and I, and that would happen. I'd be like, all right, let's just go for a drive. Let's go to the lumberyard. Like, that's how I ended up like going to check out these different places. But I'd be like, we got the morning to kill right now. We're waiting on delivery.
Yeah.
And I'm paying him to fucking come hang out with me, you know?
And when that's all you know, because you're just used to, you know, only having the capacity to do so much, it doesn't seem like
wasteful.
Right. But then when, like now, I think back, I'm like, man, we wasted so much time.
Yeah.
Like, we had days where we would just like sit around for half the day because, you know, we're waiting on the lumber delivery and we literally can't do anything else.
All the clamps are done. All the clamps are loose and the glue's got to dry for another hour. Like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been through days like that where all the clamps are out and you're just sort of like, all right, well, I guess the day's over.
There was days in Brooklyn where I used all my clamps and I went to Home Depot, bought like 6 more so I could put more wood in clamps. I also used to leave stuff in the clamps for way longer than I do now for whatever reason, but I used to think you had to put it in there for like 12 hours, but it's literally like 2 at this point.
Yeah, I like a good overnight.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take them out of the clamps if I have to, but I don't like to do anything to the stuff.
No, I don't do anything to them.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if I'm cycling through stuff and I need the clamps, I'm like, I'll put the 2-hour timer on and go.
I'll combine, like, you know,
Oh, yeah.
you have doors glued up, and then you take 2 doors, put them in a bigger set of clamps, you know.
Yeah, you got
You don't want to glue up a door with like a 60-inch clamp.
Yeah, when you do shelves, you take the nosing, you bump it up. And
when you get to the point where you got the 6-foot clamp on like an 18-inch door because all the other clamps are gone.
Yeah.
And like the clamps are sticking up 6 feet.
You go through all your favorites first.
Yeah.
Of course.
Be like those Dubuque.
Yeah.
Those
Dubuque
aluminums?
clamps. Yeah.
Dude, this dude worked for me and he bent like 2 of those.
Really?
Like he bent because he was
cranking down on him so hard.
Well, yeah, because he cranked him so hard.
Yeah, you don't need that much pressure.
No, I know. But then I brought him back and I was like, "Do you think I can warranty this?" And they were like, "What happened?" And I was like, I don't know. I didn't do it, but this is pretty bad, huh?" And they were like, "Yeah, that's not supposed to happen, dude."
Those 6-foot ones will get quite a bit of a
Yeah,
curve
they
in
give
them.
you a credit. You got to like really switch them.
Yeah.
Out.
But they have so much more force than the Bessie clamps.
It's funny, right?
You know, if you have like a joint
they lock in that one spot better, I think.
Yeah, if you have like a joint that you're trying to close up and you're using a Bessie and then you grab one of those, it's like one half a turn and the thing is just like
is just squeezing out.
Yeah, like you could squeeze all the glue out of a joint with those things. And they're nice and light.
Well, the Bessies that you say, if you find Bessie, what are these? The F clamp, is that this one? The red one?
Red,
but they're like a bar clamp, but with
the plastic heads.
No, those are Fs.
Oh, those are K
body
parallel.
And for the ones with the cast.
Yeah, those. If you find the ones that are like they have like a 12-inch deep, really super beefy. They're like
we've got
made
2 of the 8-inch ones.
They say made in Germany on them. Those ones are the fucking shit. Like,
those are like the persuaders. If you
want to move something, like if you want to close something up, those things will.
Actually, we got 3 now.
That's right.
Because one came on the sliding table saw when we bought it.
Oh, word.
Yeah, those are nice.
Those are worth more than like that half of that sliding table
They're
saw.
expensive.
Those are like $210 each or something.
Yeah. I'd like some of those that have the like a T-shaped handle because then you can really crank down on them. That's the thing about the Bessies, too. Those handles suck.
The
wooden, even the rubber ones.
Oh, the old ones.
Yeah.
You have the old one with the wood handle?
Yeah, there's only like, 4 that
like
have
slippery.
plastic.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, so they all have channel lock marks on them.
I have a problem with lacquered wood handles on the tools.
Yeah, it'll give you blisters.
Yeah, and I was doing these fucking slotted screws the other night. You know, waxing them, doing the whole thing. Bought the specials. I bought a screwdriver. I thought I was going to have to grind it to be custom for the screw, but it actually fit perfectly. I put one piece of tape around the tip, and it was like nice and tight. And that screwdriver had a lacquered wood handle, and I bought it because it was a wood handle.
Was
but
that
I didn't
Philo,
and I didn't know that it was lacquered. And I have like the Douglas hammers that aren't lacquered, and they feel so good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like drumsticks. I fucking grew up playing drums, and I love that feel of wood in my hand has always been a thing. So it's like when it's got lacquer on it, it just feels so foreign to me, and I'm like, every time I was like, I'm gonna sand this thing. I really am. I'm just gonna sand it. Because it's a sick tool, but
Philo makes nice stuff. That's my go-to like driver bit is Philo.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, for everything, Phillips, Torx, whatever.
Yeah, I like when KC Tool sends you that little
free bit.
And it says a bit of thanks.
Yeah. Actually, I have a Philo. It's like a ratchet set. This little yellow.
The little mini one.
Yeah, it's nice.
The 1/4 inch.
That's like my at the house.
Little handyman drawer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you go to your house. It's like a fucking handyman drawer. Somebody's got like some shit. You got like
I have like a whole half of the basement.
Yeah.
No Lee Nielsen at the house, but I do have because I was a carpenter before I ever did this, so I have all of those. I mean, a lot of the tools are here, like all the Makita stuff, but
Yeah, me too. I have like because I've done such a freaking. Honestly, like a plethora of different types of jobs over the years that I was like, one time I bought this tool just for the job. And then I'm like, what am I doing with this? I have a 16-inch circular saw now. Okay, cool. Like,
Bigfoot?
I have the Makita one, the bigger one.
Oh, yeah.
It's underpowered, honestly. It's not that, it's cool, but It's like
Yeah, it's made for cutting, like, you know,
it's timber framing.
like
It's great,
Doug
but
fir or something like that. It's not going to cut.
Definitely, if you cut anything hard, it's a challenge.
Yeah, that is a.
But yeah, chainsaws are fun. You know,
That's one thing I don't have is a chainsaw.
I have a few now. And that's another thing when you go to Bucks County Hardwoods. John's got what's the Husqvarna 1296, I think it is, and it's the 6. He's got an 8-foot bar.
Holy
This
crap.
chainsaw's the size of your torso, and like and you just want to hold it. Like you see it, and you're like, dude, can I pick it up?
Yeah, get a picture of me holding
And
this.
he's like, you can't lift that, you fucking pussy.
That reminds me of the chainsaw guy at Maker Camp.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There was a guy like carving bears and stuff, but he had like, you know,
Every
some
little
like
thing.
beat up like Dodge Ram pickup lifted with like,
Fuck yeah.
you know, and then like
Stacks.
80s hair metal blasting, and then
No way.
Yeah.
at night, you know, at night everybody's like drinking and hanging
He's got
out.
like some girls showed up and they're
Well,
partying with
he
him or
had like
something.
his wife who looked like a biker chick kind of, but he's
Yeah.
got a shirt. It's like, I make liberals cry.
Unreal.
Like this guy is just like totally the like living the stereotype.
Fucking A. And did he have like a
traveling
Punisher
chainsaw.
sticker on the chainsaw or
Oh,
something?
probably.
Absolutely.
Oh man, yeah, like
mean-
4 different tires on the truck.
Dude,
you know,
really?
like,
How do you get that gig?
oh man, I don't know.
They
not
got rid
selling
of
the
them for
carvings.
next year though.
Rob tried to buy one.
He
Yeah,
didn't want to sell it. He's like, oh, man.
Well, if Rob wanted like a last, like he's packing up, he wanted like a last day deal, you know.
Yeah.
And you weren't asking like anything crazy.
no. It was like a little bear. I thought,
Yeah.
something.
What do you want? $400?
Yeah.
Was it good, though? Was it, like, decent?
It was
You know,
okay.
they all look. I feel like they all look the same.
Yeah.
It was
no
okay.
detail.
It wasn't something like you go, oh, I gotta have
no,
it.
some of
Not
those.
like super realistic, like that kind of blocky.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, cartoon.
Cartoonish
I call it
kinda.
cartoonish.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah, the Punisher.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, come on, like you're an exhibitor at this show. You're out here, like,
Yeah, how'd
you
the
know.
Punisher get roped into that shit, man? You know?
Yeah, that's
He
a
didn't want
twisted,
that. Nobody
no.
wanted that for him.
twisted backwards
a lot
interpretation.
There's
Yeah.
quite a bit of that going on out there right now. But that's okay.
Yeah, the story with the chainsaw makes me think of the time I was hanging out with these forest guys that were doing,
Like Forest Service?
preservation work with the broad axes and stuff like that. So you're, standing on the log.
Oh, right. Like, what's his name? The guy who does that on Roy Abrams? Not Roy Abrams. No.
Norm Abrams.
No, I'm thinking of
Oh,
another
you're
guy.
thinking
His name
the
is-
Woodwright's shop.
Yes.
Oh,
Who is that?
Roy Underwood?
Roy
What?
Underwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
He's a
guy's
weird- he's a
fucking
weird guy.
Legendary, though.
But he's
definitely weird. Have you met him?
But he's like, he seems like a close talker, you know?
He's definitely intense.
And like,
He did a TED Talk.
like he'd be like,
He did a TED Talk.
Yeah.
wow.
He did it like I think at least 5 years ago, I believe. I watched it. He's an intense dude, but he's all about that thing. It's like his vibe is the education, keeping it old.
Yeah.
Like, he had a show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's what you just said.
Yeah,
It's on YouTube.
Woodwright
A lot of
shop.
it's on YouTube. When I first got into woodworking, honestly, I watched that shit a lot. It was cool.
Yeah,
And it made me see how there's like a million different ways to do
exactly.
things the old way, whatever.
Yeah, no, I do like his stuff. But he's like the kind of guy where like if you're like holding this remote, he'd be like holding it at the same time, like with
definitely
like
a goofball.
almost
Yeah, he
like
would, like,
touching your hand.
He'd caress you.
Like, all right.
He'd caress a butt cheek while he was telling you like how to use the table saw.
Like, all right, dude, like you're
gosh.
getting a little into my personal space.
Yeah, my man.
Yeah. But
I can smell your breath.
yeah, I use those things for like 30 minutes, and my shoulder was like burning like nobody's business. And those guys would be up
All
on that
day.
log for hours and hours.
Unreal, yeah, I know. What did I see recently that was super impressive like that? I mean, out by me, like in PA, it's like a jungle. Like the Asplund, you know this tree service, Asplund?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I've been
yeah,
seeing them around.
Dude,
lately.
yeah.
they're freaking like they're a tree service that's traded in the stock market. They're
Really?
Huh.
yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Publicly traded company.
Luddy in Arkansas, he's got those guys like he built these cabins as Airbnbs. He's got those guys like are staying in his cabins right now. I guess
Really?
they send them out from
No, they've
Louisiana
expanded.
or something. He
Because the
said.
family is originally from New Hope, and that's how I know. Like one of my buddies that's from there, he was telling me. But like, I'm amazed by them. First of all, they have like the sickest trucks ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they have a crane. You know, like the old bomber that had the Jaguar teeth.
Oh yeah,
You know,
The Mustang, the P41
Mustang, yeah, the
Mustang.
P41 Mustang. They have a crane that has that painted on the front,
That's
and
sick.
they came around the corner like right after. And I was like, damn, bro, like you guys are killing it.
Yeah, that's
But
cool.
yeah, it's cool. There's a lot of, I mean, tree service stuff is like, it's very interesting. It's part of this. It's part of our world.
Yeah.
The guys that
There's a lot to learn about trees. That
You ever work with like salvaged wood where
aren't like that.
like where somebody cut down a tree and then like there's this guy where he bought that stupid edge sander from. That's what he does. Like he's got it in with somebody in the state or something, and when they cut down trees, like they call him and they're like, we got a walnut tree, and he goes and picks it up and mills it up.
Does he have a wood miser?
Yeah, I don't know what kind of mill he has, but he's got a mill, he's got a kiln.
Yeah, and I mean, and speaking of John, that's like what he had a tree service and sold it, and he has like other people who have tree services,
So they just
and they
come
literally
drop the logs
call
off.
him, and like I call him now. My buddy's Big Steve, tattoo artist. Shout out Big Steve. He called me, sends me a picture. Doesn't even call me. Sends me a picture. He's like, white oak in my front yard. Pico, the power company came. They cut down trees if they're in the way of the power lines, and then like Asplund comes later, and then they pick up the chunks or whatever. And like he went up to them. He was like, "Dude, don't send anybody. Like I got this." And then he had the dude come with the truck, and then there's a few guys out there that have like the crane truck. Dropped it in. He milled it up. He's got it sitting in his driveway. He's like, "I want you to make me a kitchen when this thing is ready." So that's fucking cool.
Yeah. I did a job in Rumson. It was supposed to be a kitchen reno. It turned into like a 2,500 square foot addition. And there were these huge, like 100-foot tall black walnuts in the front, and they cut them all down.
Oh my God.
And they cut down a couple other trees, like a poplar and maybe like a pin oak or something. And they're grinding up the other trees,
Fuck.
and then they pull up, and all the walnut logs are
There
like
you go.
20 feet long, and they put them inside of a dump truck and drove away.
They know that. They
I'm
know
like,
the
yep.
deal. Freaking like
But you know,
50 grand.
you also you don't know what the tree looks like.
No, you know, you never know.
That's
but
like the people
it's
who
crapshoot.
buy.
some of the guys they think they can tell. you know.
Yeah, they buy wood off like Facebook Marketplace, like stuff that people milled and dried. Listen, if it's not
that kind of
graded,
stuff. I'm scared of that crap.
Yeah.
If you go on Facebook right now, you'll see some scary shit. Like
and
I
they
was
want
looking,
like $12 a board foot for
yeah, I'm
walnut.
like, no, that's what you pay when it's good.
Right.
Like when it's not freaking
when a
you know,
professional grader has
21%.
graded it.
right. Like when I buy it, I want it to have some like seal on the end grain, at least.
Yeah, I want that white letters on the side that say FAS.
Yes.
You know, there's a place for that kind of stuff. If you're doing
sure.
like river tables or something, but
Jesus Christ.
we actually had somebody reach out about not a river table. The one table she sent me did have some epoxy in it, but
stream table.
it was black and
Was
it
it
was just
with
like
the glass?
filling in a void. No, but
Talking about, I'm just gonna say this because fucking Greg Klassen with his bullshit, like pretending he invented that, like he got
with the glass in the middle.
yeah, and he got a copyright, so he started reaching out to other people that were making them and was like getting
Cease and
them cease and
desist.
desist, and like then he, you know, I don't know, not like I want to talk about how much of a problem I have with somebody, but never met the guy, don't really care, but the way he talks about like his art and like how it just seems so ridiculous to him, just over it.
Yeah, everybody needs a little slice.
He
of
literally
humble
like
pie.
I think he took a stump and he put it on a base, and I think he sanded it, and then he tells a story about it, and he's got all these people in these mountain towns that are buying it because it's got like that. Whatever. There's a place for everything. You know what I mean? Like I shouldn't even go there. But
Unfortunately, there is a place for everything.
unfortunately, it's
We
correct.
say it all the time. You know, we work in a high end market, not the highest of the high end, but we work in a high end market. There's a reason why we've never been asked to make a river table
Absolutely.
because it's not for.
some people are buying them for fucking money though. I don't know who's spending the money.
I don't know.
I actually did
Maybe
get
like
asked.
an oil tycoon, and you know,
Right. Yo, that was
Arkansas.
so funny. I forget where I was, but it was like a barbecue somewhere a couple of years ago. And, oh, yeah, what do you do? I'm a woodworker. Oh, yeah, my brother's coming. He's a woodworker. Have you seen river tables? He makes river
God.
tables. I was like, oh fuck! Like, let me know when he gets here.
Here's a good one.
We can top that story.
There was a cherry tree that was like leaning over the old shop, like scam likely, leaning over the old shop, like super precarious, and it was like dying. So we had tree service come and cut it down. And the guys are out there, and the one dude like comes in the shop. He's like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" We're like building this. I don't know if you saw this big cherry with the Gothic panels.
Right. That one was dope.
He's like, "Oh man, I got a buddy who's a woodworker. He makes cornhole boards."
Here we go.
Oh my god! I'm like, I just hand carved those with a spoke shave. Like your buddy's cutting holes in plywood and
It's like, fucking, hey.
nailing legs to the side.
Oh, your buddy works at 11 Madison Park. My buddy works at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
He's a chef at a line cook at Chili's.
Yeah,
Jesus, you can have it your way at fucking whatever.
That
I
was-
guess that's
that was a
probably
good
very
one.
Jesus Christ.
and I mean,
You just have to grin and bear it. You're like, oh yeah,
yeah,
that's great.
that's it.
Really?
That was good. He's a woodworker too.
Yeah, we always have to take the high road. Who was it? We had that guy that popped in, that client last week. He said something about a river table.
Oh, yeah,
we're
yeah.
quick to say like, yeah, no, we're not into that.
No, we're not set up for that here.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the way to put it. We're not set up for that.
Yeah.
He's like, we have these teak.
My brain isn't set up to take that.
Oh yes.
I meant
We have
this
these
right.
outdoor chairs that need to be refinished. Maybe we could start with that. I said, yeah, it's not something that we would do, but we could give you a phone number for somebody who can.
We'll take them and then we'll sub it out to somebody. You know.
Yeah.
No, you don't even want that shit.
Like, he's like, yeah, I tried to do it. It's like a total nightmare. I'm like,
Exactly.
what makes you think that
Would
we
you try
wanna...
to do it with a fucking hand sanding it? Like, come on.
Oh, man. Yeah, we get a lot of, well, not so much anymore. We used to get a lot of inquiries about refinishing furniture, which...
I actually do as well because I don't think a lot of people do it.
Nobody does it
There's
anymore.
maybe- Yeah, I know one dude in Brooklyn who's kind of like older than me. I don't know how old he is. I'm 35. He's probably like 42 maybe, but he's really good. I'm just saying I don't know anybody younger than him that does it.
No, I mean, it's a dying art because nothing is made to last long enough to need to be refinished anyway.
I've like refinished some chairs that were completely falling apart, like every style basically, and definitely learned a lot about how furniture goes together that way. Actually, before I built furniture, that is something that I can say. And they were like Danish. And then my ex-girlfriend was getting them reupholstered, you know, and they actually came out amazing, but like rebuilt the chair, stained it black, then they got it upholstered. It looked amazing. But like definitely learned how a lot of that stuff worked out, you know.
We have to make a seat for a mid-century Danish piece. There's a place in Jersey City, Lenoba Design or something like that. They are Danish, I guess. They go every year and they buy up all kinds of stuff. Like the lady died, and they go buy the entire house of furniture. They ship it back to
Danish
Jersey City.
Modern, like there's mid-century modern. Danish modern is the fucking shit.
That's the best of it.
That's the pinnacle.
All of the Hans Wegner stuff.
Oh god. Yeah.
But yeah, so they send it back here to Jersey City. They have a shop. They refinish it. They send it to our upholsterer, Jim Jamal. He does the upholstery.
Yeah, he's dope.
So he's.
I would like to see this
base.
place. We should go.
Yeah, apparently it's right down the street from Jim.
Yeah.
Really? They probably have like an incredible amount of stuff. There's
It's like high boys, like stacked shoulder to
fuck,
shoulder.
yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
shit, man. Danish modern. The names are.
It's like, oh, you want the round chair? It's like there's 50 of them.
You know the walrus chair. It's got like the wings. It's upholstered but with wooden armrests, and then oh man, who's the fucking designer? Hans, not Wagner. No, it's not him. Damn it. Oh man, I'm on a podcast. I can't remember anybody's name, but I'll send it to you, and then maybe we can
Let's
whatever.
see.
But
You know, I have this big screen right here.
just look up Danish modern designers, and it's all.
Here, I'll pull it over to this iMac right here.
Hey Jamie.
Yeah.
There we go.
Really escaping me. I just looked at the book the other day.
We're in the.
We're in internet hell.
There's another dude. There's a dude in Lambertville who has, and this is where I corrected myself the other minute there because I was talking about mid-century modern, but Danish modern is the way to go. And this dude in Lambertville has one of the stores, and he only only collects. Is it that one?
Oh yeah, I didn't realize you couldn't like that.
No, it's similar to that.
Does it resemble a walrus?
The original one. Or maybe it's Pelican chair? What the fuck am I thinking? Yeah, look. Google. That's it, right there. Finn Jewel. That's it. Pelican chair to the right. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Finn Jewel. That's the dude.
Oh, yeah, I know that name.
His shit is dope as, like, totally. If you look at that book, you're gonna get some shapes in your head, you know?
Wow.
Very cool forms and very...
Yeah, when we did
well executed.
Season 2, we did all the periods of American furniture.
Right.
When we did the mid-century period, I mean,
and that's is that his website?
Stuff.
Or
This
what is this? Oh, they must have
Eternity
bought the
Modern.
freaking rights to that thing or something, because
that's like the Eames stuff. You can get it on Herman Miller, but there's a bunch of other companies that bought the rights to.
Yeah, it's wild how that worked out.
Mario Bellini sofa. Look at this, a Wild Willy table.
Oh God. Yeah, that's what I mean. I've got to get away from that because, like, some of my stuff at first was looking that way, and then I had to change it, because now every single furniture, like, manufacturer makes very similar things.
Yeah, there's a lot of I've seen a lot of people on Instagram biting your style, or at least your style from a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's all good. I mean, that's what I started doing. I don't think it's even my style, to say the least. I mean, I definitely want my pieces to be having their own voice and shit, but, like, I can't claim having a style yet. I think I'm getting there.
Yeah, and if it's
I
not
definitely have an
evolving-
aesthetic that I like to work with, and I definitely
Yeah.
think people see that, and I definitely want to continue to work in this aesthetic that I am working in, because I think I'm really getting it now.
If your style's not evolving at 35, you got a problem.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's my thing. Is like, I love the...
You're like,
idea
I
of just
found it. It's
constantly
this is it.
progressing, like, and that's what I'm talking about with the chainsaw stuff, mixing that with this and that. Because, like, there could be, like, this super modern furniture that has a element of a carve in it, and it makes it stand out compared to the other thing. And I remember... I don't know this guy, another name. Michael Robbins, I really loved. You know that guy?
I don't think so.
You could look him up too. I mean, Michael Robbins, BCMT Co. You know that guy he's in Kingston. These two guys are great. They're kind of got the Moser thing going on. They got the simple lines, but they have, like, really chunky legs and some tapers from the base of the table up, like, that are almost impossible to even make. I don't know how they did it, but then I found out the guy has a lathe that can handle 6 foot round. So he's fucking doing it with a lathe. And he puts the video out, and I'm like, are you, like, he's standing next to this table, and he's got to be 5, 6, 7, something like that. The table's sky over him because it's on the fixture. So it's like adding another 1.5 feet or whatever. So I'm like, really? And they, like, they just have, like, a piece of it's not even fixed to the piece, to the lathe or anything. It's just like they have a stand that holds the tool, and it just and he moves it over, So.
Yeah, that's one of those where,
some real
you
artists.
can't do it unless you have that thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Some of these things you just got to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go up to Boston and buy, like, from that dude, Freddie Roman.
Yeah.
Restoration. What's his name on there?
Period Craftsman.
Period Craftsman, yeah. What's up, Freddie?
I have a whole bin of sash weights for you, Freddie. I know you're never coming back to New Jersey,
and
but
I'm buying...
Freddie came by the shop.
That unit... did he?
Yeah.
Nice.
It must have been a year ago. He was working on Sandy Hook, doing restoration on the windows.
Oh, really?
And then it turned into, like, a whole thing.
Yeah, he seems to be always dealing with some kind of crazy shit.
Yeah, he's like a PM now.
Yeah, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been watching his stuff. He has a really cool unidrill.
Yeah, like
Old
a radial
school.
drill press. Yeah.
But it's 70 degrees this way, 70 degrees this way, full tilt all the way around. So it's basically it's a Bridgeport, but without like all the machining stuff.
Right.
So it's got potential to be a useful thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even just drilling legs into a
Right, that's what I'm saying.
seat,
Just
you know
for
what I
that
mean?
stuff, making a jig,
You make
just
a
having it
compound
go that, because
angle.
those angles, once you find them, you need to be able to find them over and over
Yeah.
again. Like, that's what's so sick about the CNC stuff. Like, you know, if you have this amazing drill press and you got it on that angle and you can set that every time, then that's great. But like, if you want to be consistent and fast, there's only one way to do it. Can't be fast and cheap without being fast.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you know,
And
you
that's-
got to find ways to make the price, at least the cost. You need to find ways to decrease the cost of your products if you want to be able to sell them. There's
Absolutely,
only so
unless
many
you'll
people-
only be working for fucking these higher end
Millionaires,
designers
yeah.
that only deal
Yeah.
with the millionaires that only
And then they're putting 15%,
they're
or
doing all
more
kinds
on
of
top
they're
of
doing all
your
kinds of shit on top,
Yeah.
dude, for real.
15% if you're lucky.
And that's okay, but you know, as long as you're getting paid what you think you should be getting paid, I feel like that's fine.
Yeah.
I've
No,
heard
everyone's
I've
gonna make
heard
their
about
money.
ridiculous upcharges on stuff out in the Hamptons, like fucking
100%.
like 10-15 grand on top of what I not me personally, but I've heard about it. And I'm sure it happened to me personally a few times without me knowing, honestly.
The best is when the first job with the client is through a designer and then they hire you independently because you
Yeah.
could just you could just tack on
Crazy.
all kinds of money.
Right, you're
because-
like, oh wait, how much was that? Oh, it was probably like double that, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
And
there was
the client, they know.
there was a certain job that I did out in the Hamptons that, well, I work with Ken Folk, who's an amazing designer. He's a very, he's kind of a celebrity in a way. He's like, he's like hangs out with Oprah and, no, not Oprah, sorry. Oh my God. No, I can't think of her name.
Is it another Oprah type?
It's like somebody that you would be laughing at.
Sally Jesse Raphael.
Kelly Ripa,
No, it's like the vice president.
Michelle Obama.
No.
That's the first lady. Kamala Harris?
Yeah, he's like homies with her. Like he meets her at the plane when she gets off. She's like, "Oh, hi, Ken." And he like flies around with like 4 fucking golden retrievers, but not like the gold ones, like white ones.
Oh my God.
He's crazy fucking out there, and I love it. And I've the one spot we did out in East Hampton had to like sign NDA before you go. No pictures. Like, I think I sent you the pictures of the dining table. That was a 17.5-foot long dining table top because they had a 3-piece top. They didn't like the seams. They needed the 17.5-foot table for, I forget which Jewish holiday it was, but there's a big dinner for this holiday. And they have this
Passover, probably.
probably. Yeah, what month is that?
What was that?
Is that
November or something?
I
don't know. I'm not Jewish, but I remember getting off.
That doesn't line up, but maybe. But yeah, 17.5-foot table.
I just drew a, what is that, 14-6 3-piece, but
Yeah.
that's not our idea.
Where'd you source that material for that?
So that's the thing. They were like, the other one was mahogany, right? So I was like, oh, that's good. First one using the price. And another reason I was like, I know that those trees are the longest.
Huge, yeah.
They're freaking
Longest,
like
straightest.
90 feet tall, and like they're just long and straight. With
You
like
want
very,
big, flat.
The branches are at the top. There's like no knots in them
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
So you got this, I got like 20 footers from McIlvain, but John ordered it for me because he's got the hookup or whatever. But I was like, John, I need 18 feet. He's like, how long is the fuck? He's like, dude, what are you talking about? Because nobody has ever done that there. And he's like, I don't even know where I'm going to put it. He's like, I'm going to have to put it on the top rack. And if anybody ever needs anything from the, and I'm like, Doc, I'm using all of it. Don't worry about it. And then I was like, see how wide you can get them? Got fucking 14-inch wide.
Yeah. With
18,
sapele?
8/4. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want big, flat wood, sapele.
It's fucking crazy.
It's
And then
insane.
you
I'm gonna
just
start
go
making.
straight to
I'm gonna
glue
try
up?
to make like a outdoor furniture collection out of all sapele because like it looks good black too, you know, and like
You'll get
black,
a piece that's 10 inches wide because that's all we give 9 and 15/16 on the joiner. One pass flat.
flatter
The whole
yeah,
board,
that's what
and
it was.
it's long.
Honestly, to make that table, I made most of it solo, and it was 17.5 feet long. But like, was able to do it because of the joiner and the carts and stuff, and making sure I had the rolling. I have the rolling table at the end of the joiner. So when you set that up like tit, it's like stays flat for a long time. But most of the time, you would need a second person to like hold the thing down.
Oh yeah. You get like a 4-foot piece of hard maple. It's got like a 3-inch crown in it.
It's unreal. Yeah, yeah. And some of it.
And then you mill it out, and then it's like 10 minutes
and
later.
then 2 days. Yeah, 2 days later, it's like.
Yeah, maple sucks.
Yeah, that was a fun one to deliver. I mean, we put that in the Sprinter and drove it out there, and the wind, it was windier than
on the BQE,
shit, dude. No, on the down through, all the way out.
Well, you have commercial
the
plates?
LIE, PA, you have truck plates, so it's basically the same.
So can you drive on the? You can't drive on the Bell Parkway.
No,
that's
you cannot.
The issue with us going out there. It's like you gotta
did it illegally once and got pulled over. I had no idea what was going on. The guy, no, sorry, I didn't get pulled over. I was driving. I was going like 90 on that one. What is it again?
Bell Parkway.
Bell Parkway, yeah. And then I got off the exit, and the cop saw me getting off the exit, and he's like, he rolls, he's like, roll down the window, and I'm like, what? He's like, how long were you on there for? Since fucking Queens, dog. Like, so yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, we were the first time we went out there. So we built these vanities, and was that all we? Yeah, I think that's all
we delivered.
We built the vanities before we ever went out to the job. So we loaded up. We left at like 5 o'clock in the morning. We're getting over the Verrazano Bridge, and it's like, all right, get on the Bell Parkway. And I forget, one of us like, wait a minute, we can't get on the Bell Parkway.
Oh, and also, I mean, the reason is because there's those overpasses that are like 9.5 feet high.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably fit under them, but
no, you can in the sprinters can do it, but like those smaller box trucks, you're like inches from.
You know why they did that? Rob knows the reason.
Yeah,
so they couldn't steal shit from the airport.
No, it was. I think it was Robert Moses. They specifically didn't want the poor people and the black people going out to the beaches.
So they made them too low, so the bus couldn't go over it? Fucking hell.
Yeah, so they made those overpasses stone and low.
Unreal, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from that part of Brooklyn.
He was known for a lot of that. You know, he put the highways right through the fucking ghetto. And
I mean, he was unabashed about it.
No, I know, yeah. I mean, yeah, he wasn't very... he was kind of like that era's Trump.
Yeah, but being from that area, it wouldn't be totally uncommon to see somebody get off to Verrazano in like a truck and not realize it and like lose the top of their truck in the. You see those
videos, dude? I've seen it.
Yeah.
What did I see?
I mean, there's no like big sign, like it should be like
there's
totally
nothing.
apparent.
There's nothing. It's like
there's parkways and expressways all over New York that you can't get on.
No, my buddy, I think Max told me the story back in the day because he used to be a PA on these like movie shoots and stuff or just film shoots. And some kid told him a story that he was in a truck and that happened. Someone's calling me. Hold on.
The cool thing about the LIE is that HOV lane is 2 or more and commercial vehicles can drive in it. Yes. So on the way back from the Hamptons last time, like I got into the HOV lane and just like, put on the cruise control and just went. Like it was nice.
Yeah, it's cool out there. It's cool how much money is out there and how people, some of these homes I've seen designed are just so cool.
Yeah, they've got, the quotient for taste is a little higher out there than it is.
And it's like, it's really the idea that they have the money to give to this designer that they trust, and like becoming one of those designers that gets those jobs is like the fucking ideal thing. And everybody's trying to do it. Like every designer wants to get those gigs because they get the biggest fucking budget. And they can buy all the wildest furniture and get all the stuff custom made, and then they put their name on it. And it's like, imagine having 3 of those gigs that you did in 1 year on a website, and then it's like, boom, 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 boom from there.
Yep. Yeah, it's another one of those, you can only do this thing if you have this thing. Right. If you don't have the budget, then you're going to be buying the stuff from Restoration Hardware.
Right.
So,
and you can make that stuff look good for the most part, but
it's not going to be unique.
We're literally talking about a completely different world, and some people, that's what, and I posted that shit of that sample yesterday, and we were talking about it, and a bunch of people reached out to me and were like, oh man, that's fucking ridiculous. Like I would flip out and stuff. And I was like, yeah, but you can't, because like this is the job.
What's
bro.
that
Like,
going to get you?
I'm like, this is the job that this is the industry. I mean, sorry, the market that you want to stay in.
There is no.
Those are the requests that you get, and like you got to be able to fulfill some requests, and you got to be able to show the details properly, and you have to be able to just execute shit that like is simple and just has to be perfect and beautiful, you know. And and another thing about you can't do it until you do it, or you can't do it until you have it, is like you don't get kitchen jobs until when you do a kitchen, right? Like you can't really get a kitchen job unless you show somebody
A kitchen,
that you've done a fucking kitchen.
We do know somebody that does that though.
There's some really
What
good
was his
salesmen.
name? Mark, what was it? What was the name of that company with the Benchmark?
Oh, yeah. Rob did a kitchen and then, like, helped the client find a guy to do, like, the tile. And we're, like, at Home Depot one day. The dude's got Rob's kitchen on his van.
Fuck off.
Wrap.
Full custom cherry kitchen, cloud
Get
lifts.
out of
Yeah,
here.
with figured maple panels. I mean, it was a pretty nice
Oh, my God.
thing.
I guess what I just said, I kind of take back what I just said about you need to do a kitchen to fucking sell it. You do not need to do a kitchen to sell a kitchen.
Double take, though.
You just
like
gotta
when you
pretend
were
that
But
you
you're not
going
going
by.
to do a high-end kitchen as your first job if that's the case. Because, like, unless, I don't know. I mean, I've been recently asked to do a kitchen I'm excited about because I haven't done one, and I do want to do one that's, like, in my kind of style. Like, you guys have a style. And like,
Yeah. We've done one kitchen.
Yeah. And we didn't
Past
really
Greene
get
Street.
to...
have fun with it.
Yeah.
A designer came in
Yeah,
last
it was
minute
kind of
and
like the
changed
details
everything
weren't
around.
that great, right?
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but that
You know,
is-
it was a white painted inset shaker kitchen.
Yeah, and that's the
but-
thing. Like, that's the thing. Again, you know, that stuff is harder than people think as well. Like getting the color, getting the paint and doing all that stuff. And like, there's a lot of prep work that goes into those doors and all that shit, man.
Oh, yeah. Get everything lined up right. I mean, full
Trust
on
me, like
balance,
all the reveals,
cabinet
especially
sizes.
like 16 feet long runs. Like that
Yeah.
stuff is tricky. Honestly,
Getting the doors and the drawer faces, you know, so everybody
Proportional.
looks
right.
in harmony.
You can't really do it without it looking in harmony because it looks like absolute ass. Like you can see it from a mile away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it either looks like a custom kitchen or it looks like a
Handyman special.
like a, you know, you got
I mean, you can feel it.
4-inch
You can feel it
fillers
when you close the door and it doesn't soft close and it fucking has that rattle in the fucking panel.
Oh yeah, we got a couple doors
Like,
cooking
you
like that. We're gonna have those nice
you don't have any
snap hinges.
Fuck yeah, I know, but
The
that's
door might break apart.
That's fucking soft maple's gonna fucking make its way back.
Oh, we might have to get some of those little plungers.
Yeah.
That was some shit, and this is funny. I was thinking about this for whatever reason. There was this dude on Instagram years ago. It was an Australian guy, and I still don't know if he was messing with us or not, but he claimed that if you threw a board on the ground before you jointed it, that it like took tension out, and he started this like fucking thing like for weeks. Like people were also posting about it and like try to debunk him and stuff. And I think he was just trolling everyone, and it was in the beginning of Instagram before everybody took it super seriously and shit. And I was like, this guy's trolling. I mean, how is he going this hard? Because he was going in like he was kind of passionate about it, and I was like, dude, are you really just playing a game? And then it came back up like somewhere, and I was like, that's so funny because somebody was talking about it. I was like, I wonder if they think, like, how are you going to tell me that you throw something on the ground, like all the tension's going to come out of it right now, boom?
It's baked into the fibers of the wood.
Yeah.
It's like that drill thing you see where it's like you tighten it down, and you got to back it off one click, and that locks the bit in.
Who the fuck said that?
It was like a total ruse, and everybody was like, they're like, whoa, like it actually, but it doesn't do anything.
No, it fucking doesn't.
Yeah,
you might end up like
I can't
ruining
believe I
your
didn't
chuck,
know that. The people were like calling DeWalt, and they're
burning
like,
your drills
they're
out.
like, we don't see anything here about, about that being a feature.
There's probably a name for that where people pretend, they think they believe something.
I mean, it's like placebo effect. Like,
yeah,
it was like the backronym, an acronym that's created like on,
That back in the old days when I was a musician, we'd be driving around on the road in a van, and people. This is in the 80s, and So you're in traffic and people looking at you and they go, who are you guys?
Must be with a band. Yeah.
And I'm like, you never heard of us. You never heard. No, come on, tell us who you are.
Yeah.
And then we tell them and like, oh yeah, I heard of you guys. Like, no, you didn't hear of us.
What's that hit song that you guys got?
Yeah, so then we used to, when you spend so much time out on...
You start messing with people.
You start messing... Yeah, can you hum a few bars? And they're like, oh yeah, it goes like that. It's like, yeah, that's it.
That's us.
Yeah.
E Street Band.
People will believe anything, I guess.
Oh, man, what was I going to say?
That's like the false recall, like
Yes,
a car
yes.
accident happens. They're like, they're like the car flipped over, and then it's like the human memory is totally flawed. It's like
it's insane. I mean,
completely wrong.
Especially if you experience trauma during the thing, like you're gonna fucking like remember it in a completely different way that it actually happened. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
like
that's
that, man.
funny.
But yeah, I mean, talking about that fucking video of that woman, she's cutting a circle on a table saw. And she puts her hand
in front.
The blade is spinning towards you. She puts her left hand up there. She has a saw stop. Thank fucking God. That's all I thought when I saw that. I was watching this and when I first watched that, I just stopped and I looked around. I was like, oh man,
yeah,
like,
I flipped
dude,
past those really fast.
No, because this one I
that
didn't
big.
want. I wanted to watch it because I was like, this is going to be bad.
If
but
I get
did-
like that black screen where it's like we're covering, I'm like, what is it?
No, honestly, sometimes that stuff, I swear to God, I get like a little thing here. I'm like,
Little
no,
butterflies.
like my heart. I mean, my like stomach comes up a little bit. But this chick's doing this circle, and I think my comment to you was like, why the fuck is anybody cutting a circle like this?
I know.
Please. There's
just
so many
seems
ways.
like the
Do it with a
worst.
router. It's so much fucking better.
Or there's
man.
just a bandsaw.
Bandsaw, yeah. I mean, and if you don't have like any way to make it perfect, draw a perfect circle, cut really close to your line, and then sand it off. Like, you're gonna have a better circle. It's gonna be safer. Her hand gets sucked into the blade. Thank God it was a saw stop, because in that case, if your hand goes in there, and you don't have a zero clearance or some shit, and you could get fucking sucked in or whatever.
They're gone.
Fuck, like you gotta remember what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with
I mean, she backfed it. Like
it was
fed
all
it
of it
towards
was
the blade on the far side of the blade.
so bad, and like her comment on it was like so far from where it should have been. Like she was like, yeah, I guess I should be careful next time, kind of a thing.
God.
Or like, I never thought this would happen to me, and I'm like, fuck, like that's like, I don't even know how to describe that.
I put up a video of me cutting freehand on the table saw, and I kind of did it just to stir the pot.
One hand,
two-handed, just like a regular, all hands behind the blade, and like all these people like that's so dangerous, blah blah blah.
What do you mean with no fence?
Yeah, no fence. Just like cutting a V out of like a piece of plywood to hold the paint gun.
I got you. Just like going zing and zing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck?
I'm like, this is actually safer than any like normal cut on the table saw because my hands were behind the blade.
Really hard to kick back too.
Right. Yeah, because all of the work is on the side that's getting pushed down.
Right. Exactly.
Like the saw is actually pushing the workpiece down onto the table.
Really can't go anywhere, especially if you're holding on to it and you have a little bit of a feel for it. Like scribing like that is honestly the best way to scribe.
Oh yeah, I mean when I was a trim carpenter, that's how you scribe. You tip the blade over to 22 and a half.
Yep.
And you freehand it through the table saw.
Take the guard off and like have it like that for the whole day. Like, and that's actually kind of fun. It's like almost like you're just drawing that. You're just taking that line off.
Yeah. I think we're back. I'm not sure where we left off. I don't know if this continues recording when it's full. I don't know. Anyway, my disc was full, and we stopped recording for a little bit. It couldn't have been long because the screen went black, and that's when it popped up.
Yeah.
Hopefully we finished the conversation about or in case it wasn't there was the woman who dragged her hand into the table saw. Thank God it was a saw stop, and please remember that we're using very, very dangerous things that can...
Yeah, I mean...
You got to think about it like it can take your life,
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like, you might just lose a couple fingers. Like, you could literally die, especially if you're by yourself in your shop.
Yeah, and if you know the artist Tom Sachs, have you heard of him?
That sounds
He's
familiar.
a cool dude. But he had this video out. It's called The Ode to Plywood. It's on YouTube. It's like 15 minutes or so, I don't know. But it's like him in his studio in New York, like back like in the early 2000s, and he picks up a sheet of plywood and he's like, a piece of Doug fir vertical grain flat plywood is 55.6 pounds and it like 8x4 and blah blah, and talks about all his nerdy shit, and then like he goes to cut it on the table saw and he's like, if you're cutting plywood on the table saw and you're thinking about anything other than cutting plywood on the table saw, then shut off the table saw, or like, or go home, or like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that's what
yeah.
I've always kind of said about everything. Like, if you're not gonna be fucking fully there for that little moment that you have to be, and you're upset about something or you need to cool off, like, maybe don't try that thing that you thought you were gonna do. I don't know. You know, I'm just so used to doing it in any type of headspace that like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter to me. But like,
I mean,
I think
yeah,
beginners, if you're fucking,
you have to be doing it for a while to
really get the feel of all that stuff.
I used to lock the door when I worked by myself when I started in my shop behind the house there,
Oh, really?
because my wife would come walking in.
Oh, to distract
And
you
yeah,
or
you know,
something?
and I had my back to the door the way this table saw was set up.
Yeah. No.
So I used
yeah.
to lock the door.
Oh my god, my dog fucking at the shop, dude, like knocked into my knee something or whatever I was doing. I was routing something, you know, and I'm like tilting over in a not an awkward position, but if a dog smacks into your leg, it becomes an awkward position.
Yeah, you're not expecting it.
No, and then I look down and he's covered in sawdust. Like, he loves to let the shit like shoot into his eyeballs, I guess. German Shepherds are nuts. But yeah. Did we talk about? Oh yeah, maybe unless we missed it. We were talking about the trim carpentry thing with the.
Oh yeah, that's
saw.
where you were going. Yeah,
Right,
like unless you were saying unless you had that experience as a trim carpenter.
right, and talking about experiences from this thing that leads to this thing. It's like also with this theme where you can't do it unless you have it, kind of thing. You don't get ideas about shit until you've actually like really gone through the paces of like a lot of different stuff. A lot of different stuff, meaning like categories of work, styles of work, different materials, you know, just all these methods.
Yeah, you're not going to hit it out of the park on your first table, you know?
Fucking A, right? You
If
know,
you
unless
do-
you just copy some shit that
Yeah.
like totally exists already and you know it's going to work.
You either got lucky or you're some kind of savant.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, what we're talking about, like, when this dude would come to your shop to mill wood, I had all Festool in Brooklyn. I didn't have any big machines. I bought, like, the smallest versions of those machines, and that's what I was working with. And I wouldn't want to show anyone my shop on, you know, I didn't want, like, a big designer to come to my shop because I was, like, almost embarrassed by my, like, lack of machinery. Even though I was getting the jobs done perfectly, I mean, not perfectly all the time, but like for the most part, I was doing the best job I could with what I had, and you know, gained the reputation that way. But I was able to basically take my entire shop if I needed to and move it to a job site and then bring it back in the same day. And the only bigger machines I had was like Laguna 18-inch bandsaw that, you know, that doesn't need to go anywhere, and one of those big 20-inch disc sanders that didn't need to go anywhere. So there was one time where we were on site for like a month and a half, and no one went to the shop for that whole time.
Wow.
Like, I didn't even go in it. Like, everything I owned was on site.
Yeah, like you were like joining stuff with a TS-75.
Pretty much, yeah. I was making full on like nice tables that, you know, are still being used everywhere, all over the place. That I use the T75 to joint them every single board.
Wow.
Sharp blade.
Pretty much got a new Panther every time, or got it sharpened, obviously. But like, yeah, I would keep like fresh blades for that thing because we used it for almost everything, and like had two of them at one point. No, I got, you know, one of them broke, got sent back, bought another one because I had to make something. That's how I have a bunch of doubles of tools now. But yeah, I don't know. I like was thinking about I was making something the other day, that prototype for that chair for that flat pack collection. I had 5 routers out, 5 bits. just one person, you know? Like, I had a couple of trim routers, I had the 2 plunge routers, and I'm just like, yeah, that's kind of like what woodworking, a lot of it is routers. Like,
Yeah.
you can do almost everything with a router.
We try and steer away from the routers, but
Really?
just not a fan.
Makes
For
too
patterns and stuff?
We use them mostly for that, or just like, edge treatments, but I don't know. There's something about,
I don't like the mess it makes.
I get it.
yeah, that's,
I get it.
I'm not saying that they're
used to it.
not good to use or
Yeah, for sure.
but it's just, we just try and not use them if we don't have to.
I get it.
Use the shaper.
Right. I mean, with the big fucking dust collection, yeah.
Yeah. Power feeder.
Shapers are dope. Shapers are the
feed
coolest
it
thing
in,
ever.
Come and spits
Dude,
out on the other
it's
side.
like those, like, making those stave shell, like, coopered table legs.
Yep.
9-degree angle. Got MT Toolco. Shout
Yep.
out to him.
Got a shaper cutter.
I got shaper cut 9-degree shaper cutters made, and I added I was like, make it a little bit extra just so that glue,
Closes
that
up.
room for the glue it closes up. Those are dope. They work perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to get a head for the shaper that can take the knives. We get Hussey knives from him, but the Hussey is an archaic tool.
God,
It really sucks to
I
use.
know. I kind of only wanted one because it's a William and Hussey, and I always
Yeah.
just like love the logo. But like,
You in the market? You got room in the van?
huh?
You got room in the van? We got
I do
one.
have room in the van, but I don't want it now.
It's
I want a different one.
The feed rollers never go down far enough to like,
Right, and
so
it's,
you're
and
just
you can
like
do that
shoving
curve
it in.
shit. What's
It
his fucking
makes
name?
so
True
much
Trade.
noise.
Tim, yeah.
Tim, what's up, Tim?
He's a beast with the
He's
Hussey.
fucking on it with that thing. He's got the curves that like.
Oh, yeah.
He's like the
doing
curved door master.
everything with
Just
that thing.
constantly curved top,
Yeah,
arch top
and
doors.
he's really figured out. And I was amazed by something he did, and I want to talk about it. He shrunk that thing. Did you see what he did? He made the door, his curved lamination.
jam?
Yeah.
It shrunk. So when he brought it to the job, it was fucking. It was
Oh,
like
yeah,
a 2
yeah.
inches small or whatever, an inch on each side. And he was like, "Oh fuck! Like, what do I do?" You know. And I was like, I was watching him. I'm like, "What are you gonna do here, dude?" Like, because like I didn't even say anything, but I was kind of like, I'm watching him because I know he knows what to do. Or
Well, he
maybe-
got parking in front of the job that day. That's why it happened.
Yeah.
It's like you can't have like.
Oh right, exactly.
big things.
There was an
Something's gonna
open
go wrong.
spot right
Yeah.
there, and then everything. He forgot the door, you know. But the door's too small. I'm like, how's he gonna do this? He made, he fucking plunge routed the curve on the inside, on the back, like deep grooves, basically curved out the entire. Sorry, I keep hitting this thing. Curved out the entire back, and stretched it out. And then put it back on the jam.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, that was fucking magical.
Yeah, man.
He's good, man.
Yeah, and
He's
he just
fucking
moved
rad.
into a new shop.
Yeah,
maybe 6
fucking
months before
finally,
us.
'cause his old shop was insane.
Yeah, like little like he had like 6.5
I was
foot
like,
ceilings
he
or
was too
something.
tall for that place.
Yeah. Yeah, Tim, when are you coming out? Because I know you want to come on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got some stories, man.
We did. We had him on
Oh,
in
did
the
he?
first season. Yeah,
Oh, right.
I think it was episode 26.
What's his background like? Was he like a framer dude, and then he turned into this guy?
I think that's how he originally got in.
Yeah, that's me too. But
He was like,
he
going
seems
back a
like the
couple
dude
years.
that like they're like, can you make this? And he's like, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely. And then
Yeah.
he's like me, where I do. I'm like,
You're like, now we got to figure this
wait,
out.
I do, but I don't.
It was like the one, like going back like a couple years, like one day he's like literally like lifting a house. Like he's underneath the house,
Yes.
like jacking up a house. Then he's like building like some crazy door.
Yeah, he's doing like
Hand
the
carving,
fucking
the
the
little-
coped windows and stuff.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, you do everything.
I'm like, did you do that by hand too, or like? Yeah, man, he's the man. Who else is the man? Fucking that more school. I don't know. Talking to everybody lately.
Yeah, we bid a couple jobs for Zach. Nothing's hit yet, but we'll see. It takes a while sometimes.
Yeah, he's a busy boy.
Yeah.
That Jersey City grind.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked him about the parking space thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was so confused because he kept posting these videos of people getting towed who pulled behind his van, and I was like, "How's this work, dude? Like, is there
Like,
a
is it
sign there that
illegal?
says
Yeah,
like
to not
don't park
block.
behind Zach Detmore's van and you get towed?" I'm like, "Who do you know?" And then he's like, No, I pay for 2 spots in it, and like if someone parks behind me, I can't get anything out of my van, so I call them, and they come in like they're supposed to tow it. I don't know. I don't know how they supposed. And then I said, how are they supposed to know that though, dude? And then I don't think I got much of an answer, so we'll have to clear that up. We'll have to clear that up another time with the
So he pays for
City.
2 spots on the street?
Yeah.
Right in front of the job site.
Okay.
2 jobs.
Like on that Park
spots.
Mobile, though, where you just punch in your...
Right. I don't know how it works. Jersey City is an interesting place for parking. I'm like, compared to like, honestly, even compared to just like Brooklyn and Manhattan, it's like harder to find a spot.
Oh my God!
We did a job on Maxwell Place in Jersey City. We had to pay our buddy Manny to just sit in the van because there's no parking. The building had no parking.
Oh, dude, I used to keep like a garbage can in my truck, and I would just put it over fucking what's it called, fire hydrants.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I got towed. Fucking, I don't even want to talk about how many times in the city I'm doing dumb shit or just like not paying like those. Like, it used to be you could have a parking ticket for like a couple weeks, and if you didn't pay it. Then now I think it's like 6 to 10 days, and then they start to accumulate.
Yeah. The penalties.
Did an install for the shop where we used to work in Midtown, and it was like $85 to park for the day.
Yeah, and it's with the $12 spot or whatever.
And if you pay like for more, it costs more. Dude, you should be getting a discount.
I know. I did the fucking math. I had a job on like 31st on the east side, and 3rd, I think, and parked in front every time, and it was commercial parking zone.
Yep.
And it's like $12.95 an hour or whatever.
But then if you do 4 hours, it's like $55.
It's some crazy shit. And then I would just do it because I was like, for the convenience of it. And I was like, running the show and jumping back and forth in the car, running, grabbing this, doing this, making sure people had the material. And then I'd end up at the job until 9 p.m. doing other shit. And then go out there. There'd be a ticket on my car even after I'm paying for the parking because I'd forget, fucking ADD. Like, then look at my bank account and be like, I spent $1,000 fucking dollars like in 2 weeks on that shit. Something like that. And you don't think about that when you're first pricing jobs. Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't. I'd missed so much stuff when I first started pricing stuff. Now I really pay attention to it. But like,
yeah, if we have to, like, if you contact us and you're in the city, you're getting the fuck you price because it's such a hassle that unless like we really needed the job, there's no reason for us to like give you the regular price. Oh no, because it's just the tolls alone. Just going when we went to Brooklyn to pick up the thing, it was like $50. Yeah. When, we only went a mile into Brooklyn.
Well, honestly, for me, it's sick because all the work I get is in Tribeca, West Village, or here and there. I go to Brooklyn. It's very rare at this point, and the West Village is right there, right out of the tunnel, and Tribeca's even one turn out of the tunnel. I got a job. It's literally the first turn out of the tunnel was the massive apartment building right there. But those feel for me because like driving on, it's like I take 78 out, and it's like an hour and a half home. So either just you get there like right after rush hour, and if it's in Tribeca, you don't have to like go deal with all that other city bullshit because Tribeca is like a little village kind of feel.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's been great having those types of gigs because that's where all the money is anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're paying, $8,000 a month in rent, then the prices don't sound so bad.
You can afford a couple things.
Like, what do you mean this cabinet's $20,000? It's like, well, it's like 2 months rent.
2 months. Oh, yeah. Wild.
Well, what do you think? Before we run out of more disk space, we should probably wrap it up.
Let's do it.
Are there any questions?
Yeah, let's see what we got. They weren't really anything groundbreaking. We got from Tommy Apple.
Is that his real name?
These are Instagram names.
Oh.
How many miles a week do you need to drive? How many miles a week do you need drive?
Do I need drive? I need drive miles a week. I don't pay attention to it, honestly. Sometimes I fill up my van like 3 times in a week, man. Honestly. Dude,
holy shit.
Yeah, oh man. Yeah, you were telling me how many miles are on your van. I bought mine with.
I think we have 5,000.
I bought mine with like 168, and it's got 218 on it now, and I put like 3,000 of those on it since like December.
We'll have it for 2 years in August.
I was going back and forth to the city for like a full month, and then, I've taken on a few road trips, and I do my shop's 30 minutes away, but it's like in the speed limit's like 55 the whole time, so it's like that's at least I think 22 miles, 24 miles. So it's a good. No,
good
it's
commute.
not that much. Sorry, it's probably 16, 17, but it's a good. And I take the long way. It's a nice little commute. I drive through the farms and stuff on the way. Drive along the river, and then you go up the mountain, and then it's just like pastures and shit. So it's idyllic.
That's nice. Here's one from Andres Massey Millwork.
Yeah.
How many times a day do you just sit in the van and scream?
Oh man, I've been going to therapy twice a week, so now I'm good. I've been talking it out, honestly, but I recommend that for everyone if they're having any issues.
Yeah,
but yeah, I used to flip out quite a bit, honestly, because it was stressful. A lot of shit is stressful for me, and I didn't handle it well, and I've found ways to, and yeah, I think I didn't process a lot of things properly, and I also I do have ADD, and that definitely affects the way that you just, accept certain things that are happening, and it'll make you kind of avoid things that are very important in your life, and
I got a wife with full-fledged ADD.
Yeah, so and like I have that pretty bad, and like I take Adderall now. I just started, and it's helped me in an amazing amount, but yeah, I don't scream in the van.
We got one here from Steve Cooperstein.
All right, Steve.
Digital 3D drawings, or did he draw by hand and then execute the project?
I'm drawing by hand, and I'm giving it to Jeff Krug. But yeah, a lot of my ideas are very much in my head. I can most of the time make something without making a drawing. When I'm making something for a client, my standard operation is, sell the job with the drawing sort of as that being, part of that. Most of the time, people ask for it, and even if they don't, I want them to know exactly what it's going to look like from my perspective. And if they want to change anything about it, I will hopefully will lead them in the right direction of something that I would kind of approve of.
It's a good way to cover your ass,
Totally.
Like this is what you're getting.
Yeah, you can't really come back on some of the, especially with the renderings now. Like, some of these things are, people still ask. They're like, "Hey man, you got any of those sitting in a closet somewhere I could buy?" I'm like, "That's a fucking rendering, brother." Like, like you can't tell. I mean, some people, they don't think about it as that.
This thing gets like screaming hot. If I'm working with it on my lap,
they're working overdrive.
Oh yeah. Those. And this, it doesn't have a lot of RAM. I have to get an upgrade, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, I don't know how to do any of the CAD stuff, but I definitely want to learn pretty soon enough, So
it's not too bad.
With the new company, I want to be able to draw stuff and be able to have it programmed and stuff like that.
Well, like I told you, the stuff that I draw for you is definitely more outside of the box than the stuff that we typically draw. So it's pushed
more cubes.
Yeah. Ours is very rectilinear.
Right. Well, that bunk bed was fun.
Yeah, that
And you kind of.
So I had to figure.
I kind of told you what it was gonna be, and I drew it in like this totally shitty way. I totally fucking drew the worst thing. I was almost embarrassed to send it to you, but
it's good to talk to another furniture maker because you fill in the blanks. You know what I mean?
Right. And I'm like, well, it's 6'4" tall, and this is the footprint, and this is the depth, and like, you totally just bring it to a place where I'm like, yep, perfect, or no, not at all, or most of the time we're definitely never at the no, not at all stage. But
it's like doing a bid. A lot of times you just got to throw something and see if it sticks, and
pretty
then
much. And that's what's good about you is that you kind of like send it without asking too many questions, and I think that's kind of like a good thing about woodworking is really kind of like building the confidence is saying, okay, I'm just going for this, and then you have to kind of get it there without knowing, and that's why we're saying yes to these things that we're not really sure how to make, because we know we have the ability and the drive or whatever, the ambition, but it's also like becomes this vision that you have that you want to say, okay, I made that for whatever reason, or I've been thinking about making that, or whatever, bringing something to life.
It's the only way to get better is to do things that you haven't done.
Absolutely.
I got one here from Matt Viz, aka AG Viz. Favorite use for the lamello?
Word. I just started using it to design with an incorporating it into the flat pack furniture line that I'm designing, which I had been thinking about using them because I've always seen a lamella. No, I just started owning one in like December, honestly, which is fucking wild because I wish I bought it at least 2 years ago because of everything I could have assembled with it to make it my life easier.
If you just posted more on Instagram, you get one for free.
I doubt that. Is that right?
I don't know.
I don't even think they give them. I know they asked Tommy Ferrick to be their national sales rep. They asked him if he wanted to like drop everything woodworking and be their guy because like he's so passionate about like pretty much everything. But lamello, he loves.
We met the guy. He doesn't like us too much. He definitely doesn't like me because I got into it with him in the DMs.
About what?
You know, they just post like guy like putting on like an end panel. It's like just screw it in from the inside. I'm like, nobody's doing this. No real cabinet maker, woodworker is doing this.
I
I'm
know.
like, show it's like some
that's what
influencer
I'm saying,
guy.
Man.
I'm like,
I know
come
it's
on,
the influencer
man.
bullshit. It really is totally.
He's
ridiculous.
like, well, you know, we like to show all the good ideas. I'm like, well, this is all you're showing is. Anyway,
it becomes like a tool fuck show, but
this is a good one, I think, probably to close on. Is there a market? This is from Beer Circles.
Yeah.
Is there a market for small furniture makers that haven't been published a lot? And then maybe you can give some advice.
Is there a market for small furniture makers? Is he asking for the small furniture maker?
Is there a market? Is there a market for small furniture makers that haven't been published a lot? Like, is there a niche that these people can fit into?
Right.
Small.
Okay. Yeah, man. I really think so, and I also just want to say, just fucking go for it. Like, if you're good and you want to do it, like, it really took me a long time to get where I am right now. I definitely am not done. I'm not going anywhere kind of thing, but, like, I'm just starting to make stuff that I want to make, you know? And, like, when I was first starting, I was making stuff that I wanted to make at that time, and now I'm really starting to make what I want to make, you know? And that's almost a feeling that I never thought I would have, you know. I never knew what a goal was with this, but now I'm starting to see like a full-on vision for it. Like, you know, what we were talking about first was where do you see yourself kind of thing. And to be completely honest, I see myself in a very similar place, but with this new furniture line happening, I want to totally explore and see where that can go. And there's different markets within the market, and there's different styles within each of those markets, and there's different price points within each of those markets. And if you're a good local furniture maker who can do it for the price that you can do it for, you're going to get a gig, you know? And if you're getting really good, then your prices go up. And if you're getting better clients, and then and if you're freaking sought after and you have a 6-month waiting list, that's the goal. You know what I mean?
Then you get to pick what you make.
Yeah. And then you're just chilling, really, because then you work for yourself. It's a great fucking living. It's super gratifying. I mean, you make it. It's fun. You know, I have fun every day, and I totally honestly, it's a lifestyle thing. It's everything. It's like super fun for me. I swear to God, it's just like every day I'm challenged, and I definitely love the feeling of accomplishing the thing that's in front of you, and you built it, and it's standing upright, and you're like, okay, that wasn't there yesterday, and now it's there, and it's exactly what it's supposed to be, you know? So, who's ever thinking about dropping the saw, pick it up, because it's don't do it for money either. If you're not making money, that doesn't mean shit. I didn't make money, you know? We're still sometimes not making money, but, we're fucking...
Relationships help, too.
Yeah, definitely, nurture relationships, make connections with people you fuck with, and, designers that are cool, and... If you have an aesthetic, people are going to see it. And if you have a vibe, and if you're a cool person, you're going to get in the room. You know, you got to be socially intelligent. You got to be
That's a good point.
And you got to go all in, you know. If you're going to half-ass
for
it,
sure.
then
There's no
it's probably not
half-assing
going to work
anything,
out.
you know. like the quote I posted, which, you know, I hate posting quotes. My sister does it too much. Sorry, Steph. But love you. I posted, if you're not thinking about it in the shower, then you probably shouldn't be doing it or something like that. And that's like some David Goggins kind of shit.
Yeah, the best and the worst.
That's when the fears strike.
Yeah, you're like, right. The anxiety or the cool idea
I didn't think about this part of the job.
Yeah.
It's like the other morning when I came in.
God, I've done that too many times.
We got to pack the track saw. And then Jeff says, oh, I already packed it. We both didn't have it packed the night before.
When you both look at each other, yeah, that used to happen with Max quite a bit, where we would both kind of like write our own lists in our head, and then we'd get in the van and be like, what did I forget? You know, because I knew I forgot something, and he would have to be like on it a little bit more than me, because like,
yeah, leading up to install. So
like I got all the ideas, I got all the fucking like plan in my head how it's going to be executed, and if that's not like your wheelhouse, then you're going to have to be worrying about some other shit, and like making sure that it's all there.
I'll have the reminder going. It's like at 7 a.m. remind me to pack the ladder, and then it's pack the ladder and the track saw, pack the ladder and the track saw and the caulk, and it just grows, you know.
Yeah, it's like make sure you have caulk in the like driver's side door panel, and then make sure you have some under the seat, because that thing you might lose that. Oh man.
So what do you think? You got any closing words for the listeners out there?
Man. I don't know. Thanks for having me again. Definitely a pleasure. Love what you guys do. Totally. Keeping it real. Loving the Jersey vibes out here. This is a very interesting town.
Oh, yeah, Kingsburg.
I got that fucking torta on the way in. And yeah, man. Have you had those?
They had a grand reopening, I think, recently, that place. No, we haven't been there. There's a Mexican spot over here that's real good.
Okay.
Rico Taco,
yeah.
Next time we're going to go there.
Yeah, we'll
Menus
go there.
all in Spanish, you know.
Oh, fuck yeah. And, yeah, man, keep doing your thing. Like, don't let anybody tell you anything, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to do it, it's all up to you.
I like
Good
it.
advice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, you know, we appreciate everybody listening. We'll talk to you next week.
Take care.
Later.
As always, Rob and I thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. If you want to help support the podcast, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. You can join our Patreon, or you can use one of our affiliate links in the podcast description for vesting finishes. Again, we appreciate your support. Thanks for tuning in.